kyamakomera ebyagala okukuma omuliro mu batuuze kwagala okwonoona ebyokulonda kwaffe mu bisambajje tebiina makulu era mu bitwale nga bwe bizze. Bw'abanga waliwo ekibaddewo ekitongole ky'amakomera kijja kuvangayo nga kiyita mu makubo amatuufu kitegeeza eggwanga biki ebigenda mu maaso munda makomera. Kyokubiri, waliwo ababadde bayisinganya amawulire nti abasibe bamaze okulonda. Si bituufu. Ekituufu kiri nti kkooti yali yalagira nti abasibe beetabe mu kalulu kano ketugendamu, naye okusinziira ku kakiiko k'ebyokulonda engeri gye baali bategese tekyasoboka, era bannyonnyola ggwanga n'akakiiko ka palamenti akakwata ku byokulonda nga tekijja kusoboka abasibe kubanga balonda, era abasibe tebajja kulonda. Naye tulina essuubi nti mpozi mu kalulu akanaddako abasibe bajja kubanga amateeka kwegali agabayamba kubanga basobola kulonda. Mpozi n'ekirala, ekitongole eky'amakomera nga kimu ku bitongole ebikuumaddembe kigenda kwekatta ku poliisi n'ebitongole ebirala ebikuumaddembe mu kulaba nti tuyita mu kalulu mu ngeri y'emirembe. So tekyewuunyisa bw'onoolaba nti mmoloka ya poliisi eriko ab'amakomera, eriko ab'amagye n'abapoliisi nga bakola patrol oba batambula ku bigere. Kye kimu ku bye tulina okukola ku mulamwa gwaffe ng'ekitongole eky'amakomera kuba nti tukwatira wamu ng'ebitongole ebikuumaddembe. N'ekirala, buno obubaka bugenda eri abasirikale nti mu biseera ebyokulonda tukyali ku stand by class 1 nga omukulu w'ekitongole eky'amakomera bwe yalagira, era buli omu alina okubeera ku mulimu wanaaba asindikiddwa okukola okutuusa nga tuvudde mu kalulu. Tukuume instructions eziddako ng'okulonda kuwedde. Kuno kulabula waliwo abo abaagala kwenyigira mu fujjo, yadde ekitongole eky'amakomera tulina omujjuzo nga mukama wange bwe yagamba juzi, tukyayaniriza abo oba tukyayina ebifo ebyaniriza abo abanaabanga benyigidde mu fujjo, poliisi nebakwata nebaleeta. So tubadde tusaba nti buli omu abeere wa mirembe, tugende mu kalulu bulungi, tuveemu bulungi ku lwaffe n'eggwanga lyaffe Uganda. Mwebale nnyo kumpuliriza.
Thank you so much. Frank?
That the DIG wants you now.
Yes?
DIG wants you.
Okay.
They can give you an interview. A few minutes. So what are you going to do? Guess it.
Then proceed. I see the DIG and then I come back. Just give me 2 minutes. I see the IGP and then I come, but Luke is going to continue. Then I come. You can sit here. Luke, you can sit
here. Good morning. Good morning. Who is here? I can sit. I found it too loud. It's mine. Tugende. Mbadde sirina nnyo by'amaanyi naye olunaku olwajjo mukimanyi bulungi nti zabadde essaawa za mutuntu Poliisi ey'ekatwe bwe yakutte omwami Honorable Amuriat Oboy. Kino kyaddiridde omwami ono bwe yabadde ava Empigi bwe yapaakinze mu kkubo n'atuula ku mmotoka ye n'atandika okukuba kampeyini n'omuzindaalo ekyaleetedde emmotoka okwesiba ku luguudo olwo, era kyaddiridde kyabadde kyakumukwata era ne tubeera naye okumala essaawa nga 2 n'ekitundu naye twamaze ne tumuwa bond. So update gye mbadde mbategeeza nti olunaku olwajjo tetwasuze naye, yaweereddwa police bond. Naye mu ngeri y'emu tukimanyi bulungi nti campaign ezaabeesimbyewo nga banoonya akalulu k'obwa pulezidenti ne member of parliament zikomekkerezwa leero, era tetwagala kusanga muntu yenna ng'akyakola kakuyege okuba nti anoonya akalulu, kuba okusinziira ku road map electoral commission olunaku olwaleero enteekateeka eyo weekomekkerezeddwa. So yembeera eriwo. Mpozi ekirala osanga baganda bange banaayongerezaako ku ekyo, naye nga tuzze ne tulaba ebyogerwa nti waliwo abantu abakwatiddwa okuliraana amaka g'omwami Robert Kyagulanyi. Twagala obategeeza nti tewali akwatiddwa. Ekibaddewo ky'ekyokugyawo checkpoint gye twali twassaawo okwakisesinga amaka ago. Tukimanyi bulungi yeesimbyewo ku ky'obukulembeze bw'eggwanga, naye n'abakuumi be bonnyini babadde tebasula mu nnyumba ye nga basula wabweru wa kikomera. So checkpoint eyo yateekebwawo kunyweza byakwerinda mu kitundu ekyo, era olunaku olwaleero gye tukedde okuba nga tujjawo nga tulina ebyokwerinda ebirala bye tutereezaamu. So bw'aba nga agamba ayina omuntu yakwatiddwa nga mumanyi n'amannya, aveeyo agatuwe tusobole okukakasa byayogera, naye nga kye tumanyi okusinziira ku poliisi ey'omu kitundu tewali muntu yenna akwatiddwa. Mu luzungu, yesterday we held temporarily Honorable Patrick Amuriat Oboy at Katwe Police Station after he deliberately blocked motorists and obstructed traffic. This was in the afternoon after he was released on bail or rather from Mitiana. And as he was coming, when he reached an Natete area, he came out of his vehicle and started campaigning on top of his vehicle while blocking other road users. So we had to stop it, and in the process we had to arrest him, also arresting his bodyguard, PC Eliktoy, who was obstructing officers. These police officers know that when they reach an area, the in charge of that area takes charge of the security of the candidate, but they were obstructing these officers to do the arrest. So we are also still holding him. But Amuriat was later on released in the day after 2 hours, and he was given police bond. So we really urge all politicians to keep disciplined and follow the guidelines that were issued by the Ministry of Health, and also follow road traffic rules that are there. So we also know that campaigns for both presidential candidates and members of parliament are stopping today, and we don't expect to see anyone campaigning during after today. So those that will be found campaigning will be dealt with in accordance with the law, and that is it. We have also woken up to news that there were arrests around Honorable Kyagulanyi's home. We want to inform you that we only removed the checkpoint that was there, and no arrest of any bodyguard from Electoral Commission was made. We have not arrested any bodyguard like it is alleged. These bodyguards have at all times been sleeping outside his gate, and they have not been arrested. We only removed the checkpoint that was put up by security to strengthen the security in the area. And today in the morning, we had to remove it. Of course, we cannot tell you the reason why we removed it, but we shall be informing you later on. So that was all that was done. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The Minister of Internal Affairs would like to wish all Ugandans a peaceful and secure election and call upon all Ugandans to desist from any acts of violence. We all love peace and we should all fight hard to ensure peace. The borders are calm and normal, and security agencies are working together to ensure that nobody enters the country on his own. We have joint border patrols going on with Uganda Police, Uganda People's Defense Forces, and immigration. And we call upon all citizens to be vigilant and ensure that nobody enters the country on his own. They should report any incidences of people attempting to enter the country. There are people who have been insinuating that people are just entering the country. That is not true, because security agencies are on the alert, and we are ensuring that nobody enters the country on his own without passing through a gazetted point of entry. Those who intend to enter on their own are encouraged to use gazetted points of entry, because security is on alert, and when you are arrested trying to enter the country on your own, we will deal with you in accordance with the law. The borders, the official borders, are open, and any citizens who are out of the country and would like to use borders to come in are free to come in and choose their president. The airport and other borders have staff who are there 24 hours to ensure that those who want to enter in accordance with the standard operating procedures of COVID-19 continue to enter the country. So if you're outside there and you want to come in, feel free to come in within the standard operating procedures so that you can choose, you can have an opportunity to choose your own president. We issued a statement yesterday extending the deadline for using the old machine readable passports from 31st January this month to April 2022. So we call upon Ugandans who have been exercising a hurry to get passports to relax and apply at their own time, but make sure that April 4th, 2022 finds you when you have your new international e-passport. There is some confusion of some people who think that getting the new passport is compulsory. If you don't have money, of course, you should not apply. But also, if you think you don't need the passport urgently, you take your own time. So it's not that we shall stop issuing passports on that deadline date. No. It's that we will stop using the old passports and only use new ones. So that does not mean that getting a passport at this time is mandatory. You take a passport at your own time, not because of the deadline. Just use the deadline to ensure that you get your passport renewed or replaced before 4th April 2022. We have foreign residents in Uganda, and as we get to election, previously we have had foreign residents having some tension, others trying to go to neighboring countries. But the Commander-in-Chief and the Security Chiefs have assured us of security, and we are seeing it. So there is no reason for panic. So I call upon foreign residents and visitors to remain calm because we are assured of security and there is nothing that is going to happen to them. I thank you. Ministry y'ensonga z'omunda etwala omukisa guno okwagaliza bannayuganda okulonda omukulembeze omupya okulungi okw'eddembe era okutaliimu butabanguko. Tukubira omulanga abantu bonna okwewala engeri zonna zisobola okuleeta obutabanguko n'okusoomooza bannaabwe okuvaamu obusambatuko. Boda zaffe, ensalo zaffe ziri bulungi, tezirina buzibu bwonna, era ababadde bayisiŋŋanya obuwandiiko ku social media nti abantu bamala gayingira si batuufu. Ebitongole ebikuumaddembe omuli poliisi, amagye ne immigration tukolera wamu okulaba nga ensalo zaffe tuzirawuna era nga tulaba nti tewali muntu asobola okweyingiza yekka. Tukubira Bannayuganda omulanga abali kumpi n'ensalo nti nammwe bwe mulaba omuntu yenna agezaako okuyingira mutuloopere tusobole okumusimba mu mbuga z'amateeka. Njagala okutegeeza Bannayuganda bonna nti Bannayuganda bonna abali ebweru nga baagala okuyingira Uganda okulonda omukulembeze waabwe nti ensalo nzigule musobola okuyingira ne mulonda omukulembeze wammwe okuva ku kisaawe n'ensalo zonna ezaffe tetuziggalangawo, era omuntu yenna ayingira ng'ayingirira mu biragiro ebyatuweebwa omukulembeze w'eggwanga ne minisitule y'ebyobulamu ebikwataganako ne COVID-19 kasita oba nga obituukiriza osobola okuyingira. Minisitule y'ensonga z'omunda yayongezaayo salesale w'okukozesa passports zaffe enkadde ze bayita machine readable passports okuva omwezi guno nga 31 okutuuka nga 4 Ogwokuna 2022. Salesale eyo etegeeza nti tujja kuba tweyongera okukozesa passports zaffe enkadde okutuusa Ogwokuna 2022. Naye tetegeeza nti buli muntu yenna alina okufuna passport. Eyeetaaga passport yekka, yeetaaga ogiza obujja, asobola okugiza obujja. Naye abantu abamu badde bankubira nga bategeeza nti kiragiro nti buli muntu alina okufuna passport. Si kiragiro nti buli muntu alina okufuna passport, naye ayagala okugiza obujja asobola okugiza obujja mu bbanga eryo. Nti bwe tunaatuuka ennaku nga 4 omwezi Ogwokuna 2022 tujja kuba tukozesa passports empya zokka ze bayita international e-passport. Tulina abagwira mu ggwanga naye emabega gye twava eyo nga bwe tusemberera okulonda wabeerayo akabuguumiriro, abamu ne basalawo okugenda mu mawanga agatuli okumpi. Leero ku luno tulabye nga bakendeddemu, naye ate ensonga eri nti omukulembeze w'eggwanga n'abakulembeze b'ebitongole ebyokwerinda batukakasizza nti tulina obukuumi obumala era abagwira bandibadde basigala we bali kubanga tetusuubirayo busambatuko bwonna. Mbagaliza okulonda okulungi. Mwebalemu. Finish.
We have also a statement to share on the joint law enforcement heightened efforts countrywide on security alertness. But we would like to start by congratulating all Ugandans, and in particular candidates, their campaign agents, fans, well-wishers, and other stakeholders for approaching the last day of the political campaigns for presidential and parliamentary positions. Despite the many challenges faced along the campaign trail, we must acknowledge the efforts of every sector, including the media, security, the EC officials, and other stakeholders who played a great role in guiding the campaigns up to this stage. Now, our focus as the joint security agencies is on the election day, where all Ugandans, especially voters, will make their choices. It is therefore a very crucial stage of democracy, and we shall ensure eligible voters safely perform this sacred civic duty. As we head into the polls, we would like to remind Ugandans that we are a very peaceful community. Although there have been attempts by some sections of the public to promote hate speech through several audios and videos to cause ethnic divisions in the country, what even surprises us most is that these recordings are by Ugandans who are abroad, including mobilized bloggers from Asia, places like Dubai, in Europe, the US, and in South Africa. Therefore, we urge all Ugandans not to infringe on the right of fellow Ugandans during this election and the days to come. We have a history of togetherness amidst all threats against our country, and we are confident that even in this time, we shall remain Ugandans at peace. We also want to inform all voters that although they have rights and freedoms to vote, there are a few basic rules that voters need to follow when voting so that they do not end up breaking the law. We were in usual engagements with the Electoral Commission, and they thought that we should also use this opportunity to remind Ugandans on the etiquette at polling centers, and these include every voter should make sure that they carry along their national ID only in with them, and when they arrive, it is only Electoral Commission staff or polling agent or polling staff that will take them through the voting process. They should not be duped by other second or third party masqueraders. At the polling station, every voter will receive a ballot paper listing their candidate, the party, symbol in that particular constituency, and they should read it carefully and vote for their chosen candidate by ticking or imprinting a thumb. When they are ready, they should fold the ballot paper for privacy and insert it in the ballot box. They should avoid writing comments on the ballot paper for their candidate. They should not sign the ballot paper or imprint names because it will not count. They are also not allowed to photograph the ballot paper upon receiving it at the polling station. A selfie risks giving away how someone voted, which is against the law. We ask them to stay sober, as drunken people can, in one way or another, be disruptive and can also get to spoil the ballot paper. Persons with disabilities, the elderly, should seek help from the polling officials, and also to remind the public that voting is secretive. Therefore, all voters should avoid discussing candidates inside the polling station because this can easily unsettle others. And we call upon voters that if they hear or learn of someone who is discussing a candidate inside the polling area, they should alert the polling officials and polling constables in the area. There is no distribution of election-related materials on polling day. It clearly shows political allegiance, and if in large groups, it can act as a form of intimidation. All employers are warned against refusing or obstructing their employees' time off for voting or even penalizing them after voting. So this message goes out to all people who are employed in the private and public sector to take this note very, very clearly. Incidents of bribery at the polling center and debt in a certain way is not allowed. We have our intelligence teams that will be monitoring this. Also, acts where you come out to threaten someone or impose violence on others at the polling station are prohibited. We ask all candidates, campaign agents, not to campaign or on polling day. Displaying campaign symbols are prohibited. Verbally advocating for a specific candidate is prohibited. Campaign literature that certain candidates use at the final hour to give people literature regarding them is prohibited. In addition, wearing political attire to the polls, such as T-shirts, capes, is considered campaigning. Therefore, we should leave this political swag at home. We shall be able to counter and effect arrest of all those persons who are wearing any form of political attire. Regarding health, we want to remind all voters that voting safely during the pandemic requires wearing a mask, hand washing, using hand sanitizers, and observing social distance. So precautions are really important because of the high COVID threats within the community. Once again, we would like to, as the joint security agencies, reiterate that there are no specific threats targeting this election. However, we are prepared for any eventualities, including demonstrations and riots. And as the Joint Task Force, we already have an operational plan to ensure the protection and safety of all Ugandans and visitors in the country. And just like the spokesperson for the Ministry of Internal Affairs indicated, we want to assure all foreigners and investors in our country that these elections are not unique. These are the normal elections that we keep holding, and we want to assure them that they are going to be very, very peaceful. We have therefore heightened our levels of visibility and alertness as we go into the polls. If you could have monitored, there is additional manpower that has been deployed tactically in the field from the polling stations, the parish level, the sub-county level, and the county level. All villages, trading centers, as well as town and urban councils, municipalities, and cities are effectively covered in our deployment plans. Our task teams have been stationed at specific points, and they will be responsible for responding to any election-related calls. It is true that we shall not have presence, apart from the polling constables, 2 each at the polling station. But however, in case of any election-related concerns, we already have patrols at all levels on foot, motorcycles, and motorized along selected hotspotting polling centers, and we shall ensure that we respond. Out of the 146 districts, we have about 39 districts where we have increased vigilance, and we have special checkpoints and traffic enforcements accompanying our policing and enforcement efforts. We also have additional efforts that are focused on identifying, investigating individuals that intend to incite violence and engage in criminal activity, especially youth brigades. We have identified some of those. For instance, we have Agenda Chifuba Dembe. These ones are in Nansana, Mityana municipality. There are other youth brigades like 1010 in Mukono, Makindye, Nansana, Chirand, Nakawa. We have a youth brigade called Team Banyivu in Makindye and Rubaga. We have Hadbode, another youth brigade that plies along the northern bypass, Kawempe division. Then there's Team Jalia in Nakawa, Juakali, in Chiyindi, in Buikwe, and a number of youth brigades in Teso sub-region, in Rukunjiri, in Imbarara, Arua, Gulu, and Jinja cities. We also have credible intelligence that the new presidential candidate, Honorable Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert, wants to go into hiding, possibly in one of the embassies, immediately after casting his vote, and thereafter alleged through his NUP networks and bloggers that he has been kidnapped by state operatives. This intention is to incite the public and cause another wave of protests like what happened during the arrest. We want to caution the Honorable Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert about using such tactics. We strongly condemn such tactics, and we issue a very strong warning to the candidate himself and all his campaign agents and perpetrators. There are also those who want to use tires and burn them, like what happened where we had over 300 hotspots that were involved in the burning of tires during the 18th, 19th November riots. Then we also have picked intelligence of some of the perpetrators who want to involve in targeted attacks against security personnel with even bows and arrows. Now, this is an act of terror, and it can attract very dire consequences amongst these attackers. So all Ugandans should actually rest assured and feel safe as we head into elections. These elections will be largely peaceful because as the joint security agencies, we are more than prepared to address any acts of impunity, lawlessness, and political violence that may occur on polling date and thereafter. We also have, like yesterday in Mukono, in the elections of the SIGs, the special interest groups, we had a concern whereby a group of about 9 people who were wearing masks and caps stormed one of the centers at Namasab County where the elections were taking place. Some of them grabbed the ballot boxes and tried to take off with them. However, our quick reaction teams, which were within the vicinity, managed to respond, and they arrested 5 out of the 9, recovered the boxes, and the process was concluded successfully. Among some of the suspects we have, there's Chiberu Mike, Luja Joseph, Mande Joffrey, Moze Rogers, Galabuzi Alimasi, and others, and these ones are being processed. Then also, we want to caution some of the candidates and their agents. We have intelligence of some political camps that have acquired or printed T-shirts of rival political groups. They are planning to don these T-shirts. One of the groups that we managed to arrest one person has distributed T-shirts of Generation 7. This is an NRM youth pressure group. These T-shirts have been distributed to radicals who plan to engage in incidents of electoral violence and malpractice. It mainly comprises of youth from mainly gyms, boxers who can withstand a physical fight or confrontation, altercation with the security agencies. There are plans to have them transported by taxis to polling stations, and some of these willing taxis are being paid 200,000 shillings each. Now, what they want, they think that once they disguise in these yellow T-shirts, they will have uninterrupted access to the polling stations and disguise as yellow supporters. based on the assumption that security will not harass them. This one is wrong. Whether you are putting on yellow, red, green, blue, we shall arrest you. These are party colors, campaign materials that are not allowed at the polling station. So any form of disruption of activities at the polling centers, we are going to ensure that such persons are arrested and charged. That is basically the information that I thought I should get to share with you. We shall be having an input from the UPDF spokesperson to you, and then we shall also have a traffic flow plan from the traffic commander KMP, and also the other traffic enforcements countrywide from ASP Nampi. Okay. It is better.
I thought. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. What Mr. Enanga has just given was a joint statement. He's the lead agency, so he gave, but I can add on something small just to call upon. It's just a message to call upon Ugandans to really remain peaceful as we are going into, as we are heading, we are just counting down days to 14th January, which we've all waited for quite some time. Proceeding from what happened between in November between 18 to 19, we do not want during this period, especially these two critical days up to Thursday, we do not want to see events of 18 to 19 resurfacing. We also what happened. We saw what happened. We didn't like this. No one even wants to think about those 2 days. But it's a reality. And unfortunately, the perpetrators have not stopped. They've not given up yet. We have intelligence reports showing that there are other things they're planning to do. So we call all Ugandans to be alert. Usually, people do not see what happens behind scenes, but when you see such a thing, you may take it at the surface, but us in intelligence or in security circles know that there are a lot of things that are going on behind what usually comes out. And most people, or most of those ones who really participate in this, do not know. So for some of us who know, we call upon all the Ugandans to take a second thought whenever they're told to do certain things. We've heard severally the president mentioning some external forces trying to destabilize our country, some external forces planning to destabilize our elections. And some of the things are the vivid things the things you see behind, but behind there is a lot. So I call upon Ugandans to remain calm, but also to give in. I've heard voices of people saying, but why so many soldiers? For them, they say, why so many soldiers? Because they've had some, again, saying, now you see, you're being intimidated. That's why they are putting so many. Those soldiers are not many. We only deploy in relation to the threat that has been analyzed. The threat, the ground, the situation, what we anticipate, what is there and what we anticipate informs the number of personnel that we are going to put out there. So they're actually not many, but they are that is the number that has been put out to measure up to the task. It's not a sign of intimidation, but it's to give Ugandans hope, to make Ugandans secure, and to know that we are actually there, such that you'll be able to go to vote without being intimidated, that no one will come out, at least the events of 18 and 19 do not come up again, that even when someone attempts to do so, we are there ready. The city definitely has to have quite a number, because Kampala Metropolitan has all our strategic installations. It has all it is our city, it has all the headquarters of all the agencies. It has all the embassies, it has all the international community. So you cannot let Kampala just like that. It has to get something extra, it has to get something from, I mean, in terms of security, it has to be beefed up. So the presence should not be a sign of intimidation, but the presence should be a sign of security. It's a sign that we are taking charge. It's a sign that all is well. There are also other, we've also started hearing some reports. I think maybe Mr. Enanga will talk about it, but because he hasn't, let me talk about it, of some buildings. And this is, we are still picking the information. Some people ferrying balls, arrows, stones into some buildings. So whoever owns these buildings and it's allowing such things to happen, the building shall be closed. So just to pass this information, that if you know you're allowing your building to be a cache of some sort of arms, because even when you hold a stone, when you hold it for fighting, it becomes an arm. So we are just saying that should be stopped forthwith. We do not want to see blood being shed. You hear some people asking, why throw a stone and someone returns a bullet? But I say, you're holding a stone as your arm, I'm holding a gun as my arm. So once you throw a stone, definitely it's the gun that may respond. So let's avoid all that. Let's remain calm. Let's support. The good thing, no one is told that you shouldn't go and vote. Everyone is being told to actually do their constitutional right to go and vote, but do it peacefully. We want to secure the country, we want to secure the borders, but we also want to secure the interior integrity of the country. 14 is just one-day event that is going to go away, but the country should remain intact. We should all focus our eyes on one uniting factor, which is Uganda, our mother. So I think that is all, and maybe to remind Ugandans that COVID still exists, just to as they go out to vote, let them do the SOPs, and then not to be defiant. Electoral Commission is saying you should be a distance away or you shouldn't do that, and you hear some voices saying, no, we shall do it, no. And then when the forces come out, they say, now you see, we told you that these Ugandans, the forces have, you know, those are, let's not be emotional. I think I should say, let's not be emotional, let's be objective, let's go and do this very noble duty of choosing the leaders of our choices. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam. Then look, I think Ndugu Musinga, you come and Nampima first. Madam Newakura. We're going to shift the mics on that side.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Assistant Superintendent Napima Farida from the Traffic Headquarters. We are here to give you traffic guidelines to motorists during and after elections. Elections will take place on 14th for the President and the mayors. Then others will follow, members of parliament, municipalities, all that. So we want to give you a roadmap on the same. And this period is characterized by excitement and movement as voters travel from the polling stations to their homes, from their homes to the polling areas where they were registered, voting, and after voting, they'll have to travel back to their areas where they work from. Excitement becomes too much that people tend to drive recklessly, causing accidents and death on the roads in Uganda. The traffic shall enhance enforcement of the following violations. They are likely to be committed by road users during and after elections. 1, careless and inconsiderate use of the road. Number 2, carrying unauthorized passengers. If your vehicle is licensed to carry luggage, it will not be allowed to be used to carry people or passengers on the roads. Number 3, accepting to be carried in unsafe manner. If the place where you're sitting or holding yourself in a moving car or motorcycle is not authorized to carry a passenger at that point, you'll be charged for doing that because you're violating a traffic law. Number 4, carrying more than one passenger on a motorcycle. A motorcycle is supposed to carry one passenger, not more than one. You'll be charged on the same. Interference with safe driving. Then we have using a vehicle which is in a dangerous mechanical condition on the road. When excitement becomes too much, everyone wants to drive out his car on the road. If your vehicle is not in a good state, don't bring it on the road, because you're not supposed to use a vehicle that's not in good condition on the roads. Driving while drunk. Drink driving is wrong. When you drink, you're not supposed to drive on the roads. Speeding. When people get excited, they tend to speed. When these PSVs are ferrying people from one area to another, they want to go and come back. So they tend to speed on the roads. Everyone should drive within the speed limits of the area where they're driving from. Failing to comply with police directives. Police will block some areas and divert you to where to pass. Traffic police does this on the roads in the whole country. If you're directed where to pass, comply with that. You do the contrary, you're breaking the law. Obstructing traffic. People tend to bring out vehicles, park them in the roads and abandon them and go away. It will be towed at the cost of the owner and you'll be charged for obstructing the road. Moving on the road, then you cause a stampede, block other people from using the road, it's wrong. Then there is a directive that was passed on the motorcycles that were impounded at the stations. The president told us to release these motorcycles of minor cases. Now, they will release motorcycles of minor offenses. They will not release a motorcycle that committed a serious offense. For example, it knocked someone dead. It broke someone's leg. That's a